5:42 p.m. I call this February Honolulu Youth Commission meeting to order. If the Secretary Shea could please take attendance.
Commissioner Colburn, Commissioner Carranza,
Here.
Commissioner Matua,
Here.
Commissioner Shimizu,
Present.
Vice Chair Soon,
Present.
Commissioner Duran, Commissioner Machina,
Present.
Commissioner Bonifacio,
Present.
Commissioner Savasser, Commissioner Balladoy,
Here.
Commissioner Ho, Vice Chair Ho, Chair Lim, Commissioner Lee.
And quorum has been established. And the next part of our agenda is public testimony, so we open the floor to any members of the public wanting to speak.
Yes, I could talk about a couple little items for you guys. I'm Ryan Wilson with the Mayor's Office. Couple important things. One, just putting this on your radar for all youth commissioners. We are looking into the possibility of trying to send somebody over to the International Youth Conference for Peace in the future in Hiroshima. If you're interested in doing that or participating, please let us know. You can email me back. I sent everyone an email about it. Just let us know if you're interested, and then we're going to start a process, an application process, to engage you in that. Okay, so what that would be comprised of is a written thing, like a one-page written response to a couple questions, and then some interviews that we do with a panel of a couple of folks from the Mayor's Office and Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts, who runs the Sister City program with many cities across the globe. So please let us know if you're interested. We'd love to have somebody. We're trying to find the right ambassador for Honolulu. Some things are still up in the air. We're going to confirm whether or not it's something that we can make happen, but we want to get your interest, gauge your interest, and find out who wants to actually do it. Okay, one last element to that, too, is we're hoping, if we're able to do this, that whoever that candidate would be that we choose, at the tail end of everything, could do like a presentation on what they learned and what they kind of experienced while they were over there. Okay, so that's a kind of cool opportunity, so let us know if you're interested. We'd love to do that. A couple other things that I'll bring up later down in the agenda as well is we're going to try to schedule a meeting with Mayor in July. Okay, I'll have more details in the announcement section of what we're doing today. We'll also want to talk to you about the possibility of moving the Youth Commission meeting a week later because of State of the City for March. Town halls are coming up. I'll share more details with that with you, and we want to see if we can get more of you to participate in the town halls, especially for those of you who have particular districts. I want to talk about whether or not you're interested in creating a logo for the Youth Commission that would kind of be unique to your organization. Kind of a cool opportunity there. Talk about your social media posting schedule, if we want to increase those, the regularity of that, and what to discuss in terms of letting people know about upcoming meetings, so hopefully we can get a little bit more engagement. And then finally, the newsletter title. Very important. We've got to get that kind of sorted out. So those are a couple things that I'll be bringing up later on in the agenda. Okay? Cool.
Okay, without any other members of the public, we'll move on to our next section. And our first one is guest speakers with Jackson Coley of the Neighborhood Board Commission.
Hi there, I'm Jackson Coley with the city's Neighborhood Commission office. And if I can, I'm going to share a very short presentation with all of you today. It's so nice to see you all. Let's see here. And All right, let's start the slideshow. Okay, so like I said, I'm Jackson, and I'm with the city's Neighborhood Commission office. A little bit about us. The Neighborhood Commission office is the city and county office which oversees the neighborhood board system, which itself is comprised of 33 neighborhood boards. It's the NCO's job to help ensure that the communities of the island are able to meet monthly, and we do this by facilitating their meeting location contracts, publishing meeting agendas online pursuant to Sunshine Law, and taking care of other tasks on the back end. It's our job to make sure all communities have a platform for sharing their voices with local leaders and agencies. So now to get more into the glut of what we're about, the neighborhood board system. The system is made up of two other groups again, the neighborhood commissioners and then the neighborhood board members. There are only 9 neighborhood commissioners, and these are appointed volunteer positions. They're appointed by the mayor and city council, and the commissioner's job is to create policies that the neighborhood board members follow when running their board meetings. Then there's over 400 board members all spread out across the island of Oahu in their different boards who come together to meet regularly once a month typically, but sometimes much more than that. And the board members discuss and take action on issues that are important to their specific communities. So, as I mentioned a little bit, what are the neighborhood boards? The board members are all residents who volunteer to serve on their board and live within the same community. The island of Oahu is split into 33 different boards. There's technically 35 board areas, but 2 of them do not have active boards at this time. And the purpose of the boards is to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. So their job is primarily just to make sure that the communities and the residents have their voice added to the decisions that government officials make. So what actually happens at a board meeting? Well, they're pretty standardized. I don't think they'd be very different from your youth commission meetings, if I'm being honest. The first thing is you hear a lot from officials and agencies, things like the Honolulu Police Department, the Honolulu Fire Department, but also representatives from the mayor's office, representatives from council members' offices, and other elected officials often attend meetings in order to receive feedback and also give updates and information to their residents. There's other groups that also give information at meetings. Things like private developers are required to come out to board meetings to talk about their developments. If a city agency has something special going on in the community, they'll come out to board meetings to notify them. But also things like volunteer groups and even the colleges will come to board meetings to invite the community to events that they might have going on or volunteer opportunities that are coming up. And lastly, while the boards themselves are advisory in nature, they do take action in the form of passing resolutions, which give a unified voice and opinion from their community on a certain topic in order to help guide the government officials who listen into them. So hopefully at this point, you're wondering, how do I become a neighborhood board member? Well, it's very easy. First, there's an election that's held every 2 years. We are currently in the 2025 election, and candidate registration will end in only a couple days, this Friday, February 21st. But the election isn't the only time you can get on neighborhood board. You can also join a board anytime there's a vacancy that you can fill. So anytime the board that you live in has a vacancy, you can go out to a regular board meeting and just volunteer. Introduce yourself, tell the board that you would like to serve on the board and why you think you'd be a good fit, and then they'll take a vote to decide if they want to add you as one of their board members. And vacancies will pop up, every now and then all throughout the years, so it's always worth it to keep an eye on your board if you're interested in joining. That's the presentation. Like I said, it's very short. I'm going to leave this up for a minute because this slide has my office's contact information, but I will also open up the chat and I will give you both my direct email and the website for our election, because signing up for our election is as easy as going to the website I put in chat and just filling out one online form. If you have any questions, you can call our office and we will help you troubleshoot anything. And if you have any other questions, here is my email. Oops. There we go. And then, are there any questions now from the room?
Are there any age regulations on being on a neighborhood board or serving on the commission?
Sorry, a motorcycle went by on the highway. I'm at home. What was that question?
Don't worry. Are there any age regulations for serving on a neighborhood board or on the commission?
Yep. You have to be 18 years or older. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, thank you so much for having me. I hope you'll consider joining your neighborhood boards as you move out of the Youth Commission in time. And again, you can reach out to me anytime you have any questions for us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right. And since there's no other guest speakers, moving on to old business. If the secretaries have any updates from social media, the Honolulu Youth Commission survey, or commissioner initiatives.
Secretary Machina went somewhere. In the past. Okay. In the past month, from January 19th to yesterday, we have reached 235 accounts, and we've engaged 13 accounts have engaged, and total followers 930. Yeah.
Anything from the Youth Commission survey?
I didn't see anything last time I checked yesterday. Yeah. I don't think there's any commissioner initiative. I don't think there's a survey. I think that's all the updates.
For the Honolulu Youth Commission survey, I know in the past we've talked about revamping it, and I think that's something I'm gonna put into the pig for outreach,
Okay, yeah.
just so that
I think that's something that we can do.
something we can talk about while we're in there. Okay. Moving on to the permitted interaction groups. The first group with outreach. Are there any updates from this pig?
Yeah, I'll talk about some things we talked about. I don't
Just
think we had an official meeting, but we had some things I guess we discussed on email about like the logo, and that's like the main point that was brought up by Ryan Lena. Is discussing about logo.
I think the other one was frequency of posts, and if we wanted to start creating like a storage of one, ideas, and two, posts, so that we could start loading them up pretty consistently. I know in the past, I don't know if this was in the pig meeting or in this meeting, but we've talked about if we want to have consistent posts, to create like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
And make like a timeline so that we have posts that we can get going and sending out while we're creating new ones. And you don't have to be doing them constantly. We can create like 5 at once, and then we're good for like 5 to 6 weeks. And then after that, we'll come back and make 5 new ones. I think that's my biggest update for that one, is that let's start just getting on creating a meeting.
There's no more updates. So I'm not sure if this is the actual pig or someone else, but me and Secretary Machina were sent over something to post on the Instagram for the meeting today, and the one thing that I think we should just add like the date into the thing and just say like, oh, this is the date, you can come if you want to. Because in the thing that was sent over, there was no date, and I think that'd be more easier for everyone, because I don't think they're gonna look at the caption.
Yeah.
And also, the room number was 205. So I think we should change that as well.
Yes. Were we boosting that post?
I don't think so. No one told me anything about boosting. They just said to post it.
Okay. I think it's a good idea since we're not spending a lot of our budget to just
Yeah.
each
That's
of
fair.
the meetings to boost those.
We have, so we should just boost like all the ones for meetings.
Yes.
Or we could just have one post that kind of like details a lot of upcoming meetings to like
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
boost like one thing and kind of just like,
So then we can just like have the outreach pig do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So create templates for this maybe, so then we can just fill in the proper information for each meeting, or,
That's a good idea.
I'm not in the outreach PIG, but do you guys have any ideas for the logos?
Me,
oh, I think Anne has something to say.
So we have a print shop downstairs, down in this building, and they're really creative. And we can do something that is like, you know, kind of similar to this logo, but we can riff off of it. Department of Facility Maintenance has their own logo. There's other ones like CCSR, they have their own. So like we can create something that ties into whatever imagery we want that kind of speaks to what you guys have. Or you have your idea too, which is a really, you know, standardized one that looks good but clean, if you want to explain that.
yeah, so another idea is if we don't wanna do a like original design, we could possibly just kinda copy the city county thing, but replace the state of Hawaii with youth commission, just like the other commissions do as well, like liquor commission or other commissions, so that's a simple one if you wanna do that.
That was kind of on the lane where I was thinking, to use the logo and put a Honolulu Youth Commission under it, but
Maybe we could try that, and then we could also see if we could come up with something in the print shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
feel
we
like
can compare them and then,
yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
if we
Couple
could
options
Yeah.
to weigh.
use
So that
our
we can all, like, discuss
resources,
that.
then we probably should,
Yeah.
you know.
Is it possible to send us some examples of like unique ones?
Yeah.
Like
Good
the
idea.
facilities maintenance one.
Yep.
I think for the commissioners to think about, if we're gonna replace the image, what is something in Hawaii that represents the youth? When you think of youth in Hawaii, what do you think of? Yeah.
Well, could people out of the pig, the outreach pig still create a draft to share?
Yes, you
Definitely.
can.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it during full meeting instead of in the PIC. Okay, I think I'm in outreach, so I'm gonna ask that the outreach PIG meets 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
And that's another question I have that kind of ties into what's going on with outreach. Is there a set schedule for when you guys meet? Do you want to try to set something up? Because then it's kind of more regular and on your calendar, and it's, okay, it's going to be this day at this time. That might make it a little bit easier for people to engage and then really kind of up that outreach. Because I think the more outreach that you get, the more involvement you're going to have, the more rewarding it's going to be for everyone involved.
I agree.
Yes.
Yes, that is something we want to do. Who else is on the outreach PIG?
Who else is on it? Anybody else here?
I'm not on it.
I forget.
Commissioner Ballador, are you on it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I think Commissioner Ballador and I are the only two that are on it, but
And
when we
Dawn.
meet,
And me,
oh,
so.
Commissioner Bonavasio. So, 2 weeks from today we'll meet, if you want to join it.
Okay. Yeah, great.
We can set up something consistent.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else anyone wants to say for the outreach PIG? Okay, moving on, does anyone in the environment PIG have an update to share?
No, it's
All right. And does anyone else that was at the newsletter meeting have a newsletter update to share?
Well, I wasn't there for the whole meeting, but we went with Ryan on WebEx, and he kind of just showed us through like the mayor's newsletter and like how the format was, and asked us like what we wanted to do with it. he said we could discuss with the print shop. And then also, we divided up who was going to do what, like, in each part of the newsletter. I think Secretary Machina was gonna do, a recap and moving forward for, a recap of last year and moving forward for this year. And then Chair, Lim and Vice Chair said we're going to do, letters. And then there's gonna be new commissioner intros, pig writing, town halls, signing of bills and election video filming, and then resolution introductions. So if any other commissioners online wanna reach out to a specific commissioner for something they wanna add to this, let us know.
Yeah, I think in that meeting, we also talked about when we want to send our newsletters out. So we said that we wanted to do about 2 a year. And based on the Youth Commission calendar, you know, kind of switch like half of us every August. So the idea is that March, like the first week of March, we send out a newsletter. And then in July, we create another one and get that out in August for your new commission. And if the new commission's able to get that newsletter, it kind of gives them a recap of what happened the 6 months before they joined and gives them like a little bit of insight. And it also gives you about 6 months to plan that next one. So we're really trying to push to get one out that first week of March so that we can also get one out in August, and then consistently after that, at least 2 every year. That was a big one for us. We did divide each part. And speaking more on that, if you haven't seen a newsletter from the Youth Commission, if you haven't seen a newsletter from the Youth Commission, please go online and look one up. It should be the first thing that comes up if you look up Honolulu Youth Commission newsletter. And it's about 5 pages, and we want to do something similar, but we do want to change each of the sections. So if I pull one up right now, the latest one, we're going to keep the first couple of pages kind of similar. On that second page, Chair Lim will have her address to the youth, and then we'll have a part underneath it welcoming the new commissioners that just joined, and we'll allow little sections for each of you. So if you could please have your photo ready and maybe like a 100 to 200 word biography of yourself that you would want to share on the newsletter, that would be helpful. On the next page, I'll have a message for the youth. And then we have some writing that you guys wanted to do. And very specifically on the last one, on the last page, there's a very small section that shows the resolutions that were passed by commissioners. And this is the part that I really want to expand on, because I think this is one of our greatest powers as a commission, is to be able to pass resolutions for the youth around us. So on this section, if you've passed a resolution since August to now, we're going to ask that you write a little section about it, why it was important to you and why it's important to your community and the impacts that you think it can have on not just the youth, but on everyone. And if you have any other ideas on separate sections that you would like to have, please share it with us shortly, really soon, so that we can make sure it's included. Did I miss anything? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, one last thing for the newsletter. If you guys wanted to share any ideas now about a title for it, also if you wanted kind of a theme in terms of color.
Our last newsletter was white and green, kind of like greenish.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to stick to that or completely change it.
You could do another, like, if you have some color combos that you like. You know, Mayor's is kind of a dark green and a gold, which is a nice look. But you could also say, hey, you know what, can you maybe show us a couple different styles?
I
Maybe
think
a
we were
blue.
using a gold and a light green.
Okay.
And personally, I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me
Do
too.
you want to stick with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what about title?
Well, our last one was Honolulu Youth Commission. I think we can change that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you have any ideas for us? Like any?
I don't have any ideas for you
I think
guys.
something in Hawaiian, like
Yeah.
from the youth for the youth.
Since you guys don't have quorum, we can't actually make a decision.
Okay, okay.
So maybe you wanna think about it. come
Yeah.
back next time.
So then, how about everyone kind of brainstorms this, and then next meeting we come back in with our ideas.
Sounds good.
If the person who joined with a number is a commissioner, could you identify yourself? Yeah, I think they did that one.
Yeah, I think they're able to.
Okay, if you're not, it's okay. Alrighty. The next pig is youth intervention and trafficking. If anyone has any updates for that pig.
We met last week Tuesday.
Oh.
It wasn't like a official kind of meet. It was kind of like we had a guest speaker and we kind of had that. I don't know. Dominic can speak more on that because he was there for the whole meeting.
Yes.
I had to join later, so.
Yeah. So we met with Ho'olanapua, Commissioner Ho. What is it? Vice Chair. Sorry.
Second vice chair.
Second Vice Chair Ho is the one that invited them to come and speak with the outreach PAG. I mean the intervention in youth and trafficking PAG about what they do and what they can offer. So they just talked about.
Commissioner Saga's there.
Sorry.
That's who that is.
Oh, she's present. Okay.
So we just talked. They told us about what they do, and they gave us like some statistics. Some things that were the most eye-opening to me personally was about how the city, or I guess the state in general, doesn't really have much research about youth trafficking in Hawaii. The only type of official research that they have, what they told us was from ASU, because they partnered with them to conduct a research back in 2017, and they stated that in that last official research from ASU that about 3,500 kids are being trafficked in Hawaii, and that's just an estimate. So they said that there's bound to be a lot more than that number. Also, 75% of foster kids are being exploited in their foster homes. A lot of very deep and emotional numbers, and these aren't even, this is from 8 years ago, so there's bound to be a lot more nowadays than there was 8 years ago. And it's always been prevalent in Hawaii, but we haven't really taken the action or step to officially address and, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Officially execute, or not execute, what's the word? Enforce. We haven't really enforced our laws. They stated that the city and the state, we have good laws, we have great laws, but the problem is that we don't enforce. That was a little highlight that I got out of that meeting.
Do you know in particular which laws they're talking about?
They didn't mention which particular laws, but they said, based on their word, that we have strict laws that can, prosecute these individuals out there that, can do sentence them to a great amount of years, but the issue is that it doesn't really get enforced in terms of police and prosecutors. If anything, I think it would be a great opportunity to invite this group, the whole Ho'olanapua, to a commission meeting so they can talk to us more about it. That way they can give you guys more details and answer any questions you may have.
Did they have any suggestions on things that the youth commission could do to?
Yeah, so some things that they said that we could do is basically trying to build a relationship between all levels of government in order to create more awareness about youth trafficking in Hawaii and in Honolulu too, if you want to put it that way, since we're a city. They suggested that it would be nice to have more educated juries on youth trafficking, and that basically it's all down to the prosecutors. I'm trying to figure out which word to use that they stated, but they said if we had, I guess you could say, quote unquote, better prosecutors, we could crack down more on top of these type of organizations. They also said that drugs and guns go hand in hand with youth trafficking most times. So whether it's drugs, whether it's guns, there's usually youth trafficking involved as well within that sort of, I guess, business is what you would call that. But so very, very shocking things and emotional. But feel free to ask me any questions, or if anyone else has anything to chime in about that, please feel free to do so.
I just wanted to say that I think it is shocking, and it is definitely a problem of youth getting trafficked, especially if the estimate's around 3,500, and it's a much higher number, and 75% of foster youth are being exploited in their homes. One thing I would ask, though, is that if we were to meet with them again to ask a little bit more specifics, and for that, I'm asking for more specifics in some of their criticism, like of saying that the city and the state have great laws, but they're not enforced. I would ask which laws they are so that we could, instead of just,
Better understand.
For sure. Like in terms of resolution building.
instead of,
Focus on.
Mental health.
It's a very vague, like.
Yeah, it's a very vague.
It was vague. It wasn't didn't have all the
critique
details.
without like
But
providing. If we have to help, if we want to be the help for the solution, I think we need a little more context there. And additionally, for the suggestions they have for us to help them, that we can pass resolutions and we can promote information to help educate the public, but we are not in a position to educate juries and stuff like that. But I do think it is a huge issue. I just think it should be a little more focused to our youth commission. But I do think it's a great talk.
Yeah, thank you. Just once again, they said that we could just help by passing a resolution to mayor and city council, trying to, I guess, strengthen the priority about youth trafficking in our city / state. But another thing that they suggested is that perhaps the city could conduct their own research into this, because there doesn't seem to be much research done, unless I'm mistaken.
One thing that we can do is we don't have this power, but we have the power to ask the city to perform an audit on youth intervention, youth trafficking in the city of Honolulu. And I think in that resolution, we ask them to report back their findings. And if they don't pursue it, then they'll report back they didn't pursue it. But then we can check at the end where it went. But that would be a great resolution to write.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it for the intervention. If anything, feel free to contact I think second vice chair Ho
Yeah.
would have the most information, honestly. So
He's the one who set up the whole
yeah,
meeting.
he's the one that set up everything. But he's not here today, sadly. But
It's okay, we can talk to him.
so feel free to contact him if you want to know more about it.
Yeah,
Everyone else online out there.
Well, I'm happy the pigs are meeting. If we can keep that consistency and meet again before March, that would be great. And if the Pig for Youth Intervention and Trafficking want to write and pass the resolution, you can do it by yourself or together. And then we can discuss it at the next meeting. Okay, if that's it for the PIG on youth intervention and trafficking, moving on to news, business, and resolutions. If Commissioner Baladoy wants to introduce Resolution HYC 25-001.
Sorry, are we at quorum?
Oh, yes. Commissioner Sagase.
Oh, okay. Got
Can we
it.
vote? Okay.
Commissioner Sagase, you'll just have to type in the chat when we vote. Okay, you're good.
Sure.
Excuse me.
That's true.
Commissioner Baladoy, when you're ready.
So hi, I'm Nicole, and I'll keep this short. Basically, the resolution is just about not raising the price of youth passes, because I thought it was kind of important since the Honolulu Rate Commission is moving forward with like the youth transit pass rate increase without asking input from the keiki. So I think this reso is kind of important.
Thank you, Commissioner Baladoy.
We read it out. Does someone read it out?
No, but you have to motion to. You
I have a few questions.
have to motion to discuss.
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
I don't.
What do we have to motion to?
We have to motion to discuss.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we do?
What is it called? Consideration. Consideration.
We would move to adopt the resolution, someone seconds it, and then there's discussion.
And then there's voting.
When you're done, then you vote.
Okay.
But you do have to. Motion. Go ahead.
So, sorry.
Motion to
So
accept.
usually-
Anybody? Oh, yeah.
usually the introducer
Uh,
would move, and then someone would second.
Oh,
Okay.
so she can.
The introducer is on.
Yes,
Not him.
we just
Yeah.
tell her.
I'll,
Just go.
yeah,
It
I'll,
can be anybody.
I'll motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll second that.
Yay, now that we are in that, now we can move to discuss this resolution. And does anyone have any comments or questions? Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I am definitely in favor of Commissioner Baladoy's resolution of not raising youth bus fares, especially because I don't think that the youth are just getting bus fares to go see their friends or hang out with people. I think a lot of youth use the bus and their bus passes to go to school or to go to work. And I think raising the price of both of those things would put youth at a incredible inconvenience. And if someone's not able now to afford their bus pass, do they just not go to school? And I don't think that's an option for a lot of youth to just not be in school. So I'm definitely in favor of your resolution for that reason, mostly. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was wondering a little bit about your, some of the things you mentioned about the differences between, the youth bus passes and the adult bus passes. Also, like, if this were to be passed, or, like, do you have any alternative solutions for, revenue generation? Because obviously the bus is a system that needs to be sustained.
So I'm kind of confused about what you mean by like the difference between the adult and youth pass, but I was thinking instead of like charging the youth, they should like charge more for like visitors, since like a lot of visitors or people who travel to Hawaii, they use the bus a lot too.
Interesting. I was just kind of curious, like, for it was kind of a multi-part question, but I was just kind of curious on why you chose to include those bits of information. I wasn't sure if that like helped build your argument. I would just like to preface with like I totally agree with this. I think as a commission it should be like our responsibility to advocate for stuff like the affordable bus fares for youth. So I do agree with that. I'm just kind of curious.
It's kind of just like a statistic that I got from the, I guess the footnote that I kind of linked, but it kind of shows the difference between like how much the adult pass, like how much money it generates compared to any of the youth passes.
Yeah. The only thing is just like as like with experience with like resolutions and stuff, I feel like if someone were to see that, they might maybe say, oh, like shouldn't it be the city's objective to increase the revenue generated from youth? You kind of see what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Because there's such a
so
big
basically,
discrepancy.
like I was thinking, if they don't like raise the like prices, it'll encourage riders to want to ride the bus more. So like
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes
Yeah,
sense to
I
me.
kind of agree with that, Commissioner Baladoy, in the fact that if we want the bus to be completely sustainable for like our lifetime also, we have to start thinking about creating lifetime ridership with youth. And if we're pricing them out already at such a young age, it's going to really turn them off from when they get older and have the opportunity to have a car to still use public transportation. So keeping those fares low to incentivize people while they're young to get comfortable with public transportation, I think is super important so that they have those lifelong skills to be able to use it for the rest of their lives. Because I think people who don't use them as a youth really rarely use public transportation as they get older. Because it's so less inconvenient. But if we can create that bond with public transportation early, I think it'll be better. Any other comments, questions? Okay.
I'll motion to vote on this resolution.
Good.
If you guys are all ready.
Oh, I'll second the motion to vote.
Perfect. If everybody who wants to pass the motion. Can I say?
Yeah.
Are there any objections to HYC resolution number 25-001? Seeing that there's no objections to resolution 25-001, it passes with unanimous consent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Commissioner Baladoy. Oh, I see it. Our next new business topic is our March meeting date. And the State of the Union address for the mayor is next week, Tuesday? Or, sorry, is next month on March 18th. That's a Tuesday, on the third Tuesday of the month, usually when we meet. We've been told that for the next week, all the dates are completely open. So if anyone has any objections to moving the meeting date to March 25th, please speak up.
I'm not sure personally if I'd be able to make it on the 25th, but
During a lot of spring breaks.
yeah, obviously there's not much we can do about the situation, so
Okay.
Could we move it a week earlier?
I was gonna say, could we do March 11th?
We'll ask Ovello real quick.
Okay. If we do decide to do March 11th, that would mean meeting materials are due on March 4th, and that gives you 2 weeks from today. So, this time no waiting room.
So how's everyone?
What else can we talk about at this meeting date?
I was kind of thinking for the logo stuff. Like, what about like Kalo or something? To like
Yeah.
represent like.
So I'll say tentatively Olelo can, but I'm not sure about this room.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would have to check. I do know that the week after is okay.
Okay, so we know we can definitely do the week after, but maybe the week before.
Sorry.
So we,
Yeah.
is it possible to just move rooms?
This is the only room we have.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does it have to be on like a Tuesday? Or can it be other days?
Can.
It can be other days. I would say Olelo suggested Tuesday would work best for them.
We could do Tuesday the 11th.
Yeah, and if that's a problem, the 25th, I
Yeah.
could possibly be able to make it on that. So.
Okay,
There's no-
let's plan for Tuesday, March 11th. In this room. And if we find out later on that's not available, then we will send a message for March 25th.
Yep.
But as of right now, everyone put on their calendar Tuesday, March 11th, and meeting materials are due Tuesday, March 4th. Okay.
Which is in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I said that. Which is in 2 weeks, so get on it. Okay, future agenda items. Next meeting is Tuesday, March 11th at 5:30 p.m. in this room, 301 at Honolulu Hale.
The meeting is, no, the room is 301 or 300?
It's 305,
Sorry.
306. 301.
Okay, 301.
Ah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's right. Resolutions and documents are due a week before the meeting on March 4th.
And also on the building off of the media outreach material, we should also probably try to talk about either logo or newsletter ideas.
Yes. Oh, okay, that's a good one. If each commissioner could come to the next meeting with one idea for either the logo or the newsletter.
Title. To just confirm. The newsletter title, right?
The newsletter title,
Yeah.
the logo, or the newsletter title. You don't have to do both. If you do both, you're extra special. But if you do one, you've done your job. Yes. Okay. The Honolulu Youth Commission meeting is adjourned. Oh.
Can I add 2 more items really fast?
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Or chair, I apologize, chair. Okay, so town halls begin March 27th for the mayor and his administration. And we will be sending out like the full schedule and locations and dates, etc., for all of you. And we really want to get as much participation as possible. Really informative for you all to see what goes on, but also really great for the communities to see your involvement in what's going on with the city. And, you know, just to be there, and typically the mayor will have you say a little introductory thing, and you stand up in front of the crowd and speak with them. It's a really great opportunity and experience, okay? So if we can have you guys there, that'd be amazing. Be on the lookout for that. And then the other item is, if you want to bring this up or potentially put it on the agenda for next one, is meeting with the mayor on July 1st. This is during the summertime at noon in this conference room. And so what we do, we've got it on mayor's calendar for all of you, but what we'd like you to do is kind of see if you can attend at that time. I'll send out an email to everyone and see if you're available. Just respond back, and then we'll have to decide on some of the topics that we want to discuss with
I
him.
won't be here.
You're not gonna be here. Okay, maybe we can find another day. But just let me know what your availability is. I'll send out that email if I haven't done so already, and we'll see what we can do and kind of figure out what we're gonna ask him.
Right.
Okay? But he's really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it.
Make sure you do it, because if all of you are here, it's an official meeting, so we do have to post before.
Before June 30th or after July 8th?
Before June 30th or after. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, and if that's it, then we will adjourn this meeting at 6:32 on Tuesday, February 18th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before everybody goes, doesn't matter about the meeting, but I did send you all an email reminding you about financial disclosures. Please take a look at it.
And if you're under